Greetings and welcome back to Inspired Messages. In the last segment, we spoke about calcination, and during that stage, you began seeing the illusions, misleading beliefs, and harmful habits of the ego. This week, our segment is about the stage of conjunction. In the conjunction stage, it deals with the act of creating something new. It is the joining of the rational and emotional self. After purification and clarification of fire, water, and air of the first 3 stages, it is now time to combine what is left within you. That is, the elements that remain to create the new. You begin operating from higher intelligence. It is the reconciling of the opposite forces to work in harmony. Conjunction provides the inner space, the simmering, that is required for us to truly and honestly accept all the parts of our authentic self. When we experience this stage of spiritual alchemy, all of our unconscious thoughts and feelings bubble up to the surface and into the light of conscious awareness. Inner growth begins to take place. You begin inviting in the light to illuminate your darkness in order to find balance and harmony, because you begin to have a state of higher comprehension, acceptance, and unconditional self-love begins to take place. During this stage, what I was going through, I began saying no. I began protecting my energy and not attending or gathering at any place that I did not feel or want to. I began secluding myself on and off as I was still having the light and dark battles within myself, but it was coming from me and no one else. I stopped entertaining conversations that did not serve me. I stopped answering my phone. I began to do things that I wanted to do and not what I was told to do or was trained, I would say, or was taught, for a better word, to do. And the majority of times it was solitude, it was reading, researching, journaling, meditating, sitting at the park for hours in silence, just observing nature with my feet on Mother Earth. And again, at this time, when this was taking place, I wasn't aware that I was in the transformation process of spiritual alchemy, but I was seeking and searching to bring the alchemical marriage between my inner God and Goddess. And this symbolizes the union between the feminine dimensions of consciousness, intuition, and emotion, and the masculine dimension of consciousness, the intellect and logic. The conjunction stage is the prerequisite to progress further. I loved how I felt, and I continue to love myself unconditionally. The feeling was just such a good feeling that I wanted more and more and more, and that encouraged me because of the way I was feeling. It was like an ecstasy for me, and it encouraged me to do more of what I wanted and more of spending time doing the things that I wanted to do. And sometimes people say it's selfish, but sometimes we have to do what is best for us, and this spiritual journey requires you to do what is best for you. This stage takes place in the earth element, since it is the first materialization of embodiment and the great work. The internal elements are recombined in the endeavor to create oneness from the four elements. This is also the stage where synchronicities begin to take place, and that lets you know that you are on the right track. This is the time like things happen. You'll think of something, and periodically it just happens, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want more of that. And so during this time again, you also begin to harness your sexual energy, because you are coming to know how important and magical sexual energy is, and the power it has to make potent transformations in your life. And an example of this, you know that when athletes, when they have a game or a boxing match, they refrain from engaging in sexual activities, because they need the stamina and the endurance, and so they refrain from engaging in sexual activities. Even the yogis and the people that practice the higher levels of martial arts, when they have certain things to do, they refrain from engaging in sexual activity. And that's another thing as well. You go through a stage of abstinence, and sometimes even if you don't want to, when it's time for you to go through that stage, it's like the universe makes things take place and forces you to go through that stage of being abstinence, just so that you are focusing on yourself. In this stage, you begin to have conscious recognition of the true meaning of the unconscious contents, which is represented by the purest strength given by the spark of divinity, or the spirit that is within you. You see your spiritual development as if a flooding of the unconscious contents into the conscious reality. But at this point, they can be integrated into our conscious perception more readily through the help of divine guidance, which brings psychic phenomena and absolute love. And when I say psychic phenomena, not that you're having, these, how they call, like, or your psychic issues, but when they say psychic phenomena, like, you begin to have, more vivid dreams. You begin to have these connections when you're sensing, you're sensing things around you. You're sensing spirit. You're sensing your ancestors around you. And so, that's what I would describe as psychic phenomena. Or again, you may think of someone or want them to call you, and they call you. And so this just brings about an immense amount of just absolute divine love. In this stage, the sun is in conjunction with the moon, the feminine, and the masculine. The lovers are united to create your new world. This is the stage of conjunction. Thank you for listening. Tune in to the next episode as we discuss putrefaction, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that, the way that you usually hear it pronounced. It's putrefaction, stage 5 of spiritual alchemy. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button and notification button. And if this has helped you in any way, please share the link with someone else. Sharing is caring, caring for the greater good of humanity and raising consciousness. Until next time, one love.